9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the ultimate beacon. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance before main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Mission elapsed time, passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour. Minute 50 seconds of mission elapsed time, standing by for main engine throttle down to 85%, ahead of solid rocket booster separation expected at the 2-minute 9-second mark. We see throttle down. Confirmed separation. Main engine's throttling up, guidance converged.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on Integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity, 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
Okay, so you are watching and listening to the launch
for launch abort system jettison.
We're going to keep that commentary in the background there. If you are listening on radio, I urge you, please, 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 pull over if you're driving. Find a way of watching this. It is a spectacular, amazing, awe-inspiring thing we're witnessing. Andy, just talk to us about the progress that we're seeing so far. It all seems to be going to plan.
Yes, the booster separation was very clean and very separated, and that went really well. One of the things it does then is it throttles up to give it more power then. It throttles back to allow them to separate quite neatly, and then it throttles back up and pushes forward, and then it blows away the cowling around the side of the spacecraft here, and then it loses the emergency rocket system on the top, which is the escape system. So they're on their own now, the astronauts, as they go up there. The only way they could separate now is by separating physically from the rest of the vehicle to recover if there's an emergency.
So we're off to a good start, Maggie, by the sounds of things.
It looks like it, yeah. It looks beautiful.
It is beautiful. Go on. How did you feel watching that then?
Really emotional. Really emotional, yeah.
I think, go on, Tom, what do you make of what we're seeing?
I mean, it is just the most stupendous sight. It's something that we have only really seen 10 times before with those Apollo missions, those manned Apollo missions, sending humans on such a powerful rocket up quite so far?
Are they already looking at the Earth?
Yes, you can actually see the... I mean, you're not in orbit yet, but you're getting up there. You can start to see the curvature of the Earth and the atmosphere. It's absolutely breathtaking.
We're about to be joined in the studio by an astronaut, by the way, so give us a second. I mean, Tom, the amazing feat of human endeavour. I can remember having an assembly at school where I was told that the same technology in your mobile phones, and bearing in mind that this would have been about 15 years ago, the same technology level that's in your mobile phones is very similar to the amount of technology that was in the initial mission that went to the moon, and thinking, gosh, how on earth did we do it? How did we do it?
Isn't this the incredible thing? Look how much technology has moved on in these 53 years since we last touched down on the moon in December 1972. Think about everything about our lives. How much has changed? And yet, we have been stuck in this sort of sclerotic space of low Earth orbit. Now, that's not to denigrate the continuous human presence we've had in space since the year 2000, an impressive feat in and of itself. It's not to denigrate all of the science that has been done in low Earth orbit, all of the satellites we've put up, the rovers we've put on Mars, the rovers we've put on the moon. Great stuff. But there is nothing that beats the inspiration of humans making that mission and going that distance.
I cannot wait, by the way, to go back to Ben Leo. I get that we've got to sit on these images for a while because it's amazing, it's awe-inspiring. But our very own Ben Leo was there. He will have witnessed it, he will have felt it, he will have heard it. I cannot wait to see the look on his face when we go back to him, hopefully, in a few minutes' time. We're joined in the studio now by astronaut and entrepreneur Per Wimmer. Per, it's good to be you.
I know. I'm so excited and thrilled for the crew, and what a successful and beautiful launch. I mean, you're literally shaking. It's so emotional. This is history. This is our Apollo 8. I mean, I was only a few months old when Apollo 8 took off. Now we can see it, experience it for ourselves. It's truly fantastic and historic.
And the buzz is still there. I mean, I can remember towards the end of the Apollo programme, I can remember people saying that they actually struggled for airtime towards the end because the public got a bit too used to us going to space. Well, we've had like 50 years to kind of build up to getting back, and we're pumped again, aren't we? We are so super pumped again. What is it for you, Per, that makes you want to do something that is incredibly dangerous? Why would you want to do what they're doing now?
Well, I'm an adventurer, so I do slightly more than average dangerous things. I mean, I have in my adventure background done the world's first skydive over Mount Everest. So arguably I've done things that are a little bit more dangerous than going into space, because when it comes to space and rockets, they are actually tested and tried. Yes, things go wrong occasionally, but most of the times they are fit for purpose.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. And this one looks to be so far. Now, I think we are going to go, just quickly, we'll dip out of this footage because everything seems to be going very well. We'll come back to it. We might be able to keep it in a little box on the screen, hopefully, as well, so you can get the best of both worlds. But I'm desperate to go and see what Ben Leo is looking and feeling like at the moment over there. Can we go to him? Can we go to Ben Leo, our Chief US correspondent? Let's go. Ben, oh no, I'll tell you what, keep it on the screen, keep it on the screen. Sorry, what are we seeing, Andy?
Seeing separation of the spacecraft with the upper stage separating from the cowling, which I've got on the table there. So you're seeing that separation now. So there's the main booster. Oh, that's an unbelievable thing. And there's the main booster then will fall back down towards the Earth, and that rocket then will put them into a low Earth orbit, and then eventually it'll put them into a long elliptical orbit about the Earth.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to look at. I mean, Tom, the sheer level of beauty on display here is amazing.
Well, it is something that is awe-inspiring, right? That we as human beings can create systems that take us beyond this Earth. Now, low Earth orbit has become relatively regular in recent years. Actually, the cost of getting to low Earth orbit has collapsed since the reusable rockets first pioneered by Elon Musk, and others are now stepping onto that train too. I mean, the cost of getting something into low Earth orbit is now a tenth of what it was about 15 years ago. So this is perhaps not as exciting, But the crucial point is that this is going a hell of a lot further than low Earth orbit. This is going 1,000 times as far.
What kind of stuff will they be doing on board, like in the coming days? I mean, because it's going to be a while to go.
Yeah, first and foremost, they got to sort of get up there and get out of that ecliptic circle there. So there'll be an extra boost and then direction moon. But on the way up there, they're actually going to drop 2 small satellites on the way. There will be 2 satellites, small CubeSats from with input from Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Korea, and Germany. So it is actually truly an international collaboration that's taken place here. So they will be dropping them along the way before they sort of head all the way up towards the moon.
Okay, all right. Now we're going to, in just a couple of minutes' time, we're going to take the voice of Ben Leo, because I'm reluctant to come off this footage. Is that good? We might miss something really important, but we're going to be hearing from him very, very shortly. Can we check in? Are we still getting comms between NASA and the base? I just want to see if we can hear what they're actually saying to each other. No, it's got a bit muted at the moment.
And good, Neds.
No, there's long pauses between what it is that they're saying, so yeah, we'll obviously check back into that in a second now.
And Integrity Houston for PWD setup, just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
Okay, so obviously it's technical instructions to each other there, which goes way over my head, I'm afraid. Maggie, does that mean anything to you at all?
No.
No, fair enough. At least you're honest. I like it. But yeah, just the amount of years that it's taken to get to this point now. I mean, could you maybe just explain to us, you know, what a kind of big effort it has been just to get us to this stage where they can go to the far side of the moon?
I think it's annoying because I feel like space is like funded and then defunded and then funded and defunded. Orion capsule was part of Constellation program, which was set up by in the George W. Bush era, and then it was cancelled, and now it's come back again. So it's decades of work, right? So. It's a long time.
When Artemis was first announced by Donald Trump in his first term as president, it set its sights on landing humans back on the moon in 2024. Now, people with calendars might have noticed that came and went about 2 years ago. But this is the important thing. I mean, there's always a battle between Congress and NASA, people asking for more money, but also, frankly, the bloat of the spending that NASA does. There's been arguments about how long they've taken, the cadence of this programme, for instance. The last time that SLS, this big orange rocket, launched was 3 years ago. The new administrator of NASA, a guy called Jared Isaacman, he's a self-made billionaire who himself has self-funded himself to go into space. He seems like a really competent guy. And one of the things that he's been saying is actually one of the reasons there's been a lot of trickiness about this mission and delays and leaking of helium and all the rest of it is that there's been a loss of talent at NASA. If you have a 3-year gap between each major launch, people are going to move on. There are other exciting opportunities out there. There are jobs going with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And actually, what he's trying to do is increase the speed. He's added extra missions as part of the Artemis programme to come each and every year. I think he wants a cadence of 10 months, every 10 months having a launch to try and keep that talent in NASA, to try and keep that Apollo spirit there and try and bring people back in-house and, frankly, also not have that long gap that then loses knowledge, that then increases timelines and increases costs.
Yeah. Well, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right, because although Richard Nixon cancelled the Apollo programme, he did approve the shuttle programme, and therefore the workers who'd worked on Saturn V and Apollo transferred over to keep the shuttle programme going. We didn't get that after shuttle went. Bush never thought about that, and therefore those people went. We lost them, and that you lost that consistency. It's something that the Russians have been very good at keeping a consistency, and so have the Chinese.
When shuttle was retired, there were a humiliating couple of years when the Americans could only get up into space on Russian rockets, and it wasn't until Elon Musk developed the Falcon 9 rocket and the human-rated Dragon capsule, which I think first flew in 2018. It wasn't until then that actually America could get its own people back up into space again on American rockets. I mean, there was a decade of humiliation for America in space.
Yeah. Can I just say, actually, a moment for the families of the astronauts, because they must be so relieved at the moment. You know, it's the start of an incredibly nerve-wracking 10 days or so. But can you imagine what they must have felt like watching the launch, knowing about the technical faults, and then seeing it blast off like that? It must be amazing. Something, obviously, you don't particularly seem to care about. You're just going up no matter what.
We're going, no, absolutely. No, I mean, in particular for Reed Wiseman, the commander, he has had, you know, a challenging time. His wife died, I think it's 3 or 4 years ago, of cancer. So, and with the kids and everything, and yet he's there. So he has done a lot more than anybody else, because he had to take care of the family himself.
The psychology of
can you imagine just having lost that? Another fun fact about Reed, actually, which is not so many people know, is he's actually afraid of heights. Would you believe? Would you believe that? Which is quite sort of funny for an astronaut. But
he's going higher than literally any other human has ever gone in the history of the planet.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
So, but there you go.
What a way to conquer your fears.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It might go away by the end of it. I mean,
I'm just in awe, Maggie, because you have to justify, you know, to your families, to your friends, etc., why you're taking this risk and why it means so much, and the amount of hours and dedication, everything that it must take, you know, the separation away from your families, etc., to go and do this thing. I mean, you have to really, really be bought into the idea that this is for humanity, don't you, I think?
Absolutely, but like 3 of these astronauts are experienced astronauts. They've been to space before. Every time they launch into space is a risk, and they take that, and I'm sure their family are more than familiar with it. The one astronaut, the Canadian astronaut, Hansen, isn't it?
Jeremy Hansen.
Yeah. And so he's a first-time flyer. So for his families, yes, that's going to be an incredible anxiety. But
Jim Lovell's wife said it once when she said it's all right for him going up. He's busy, got things to do. we haven't. We've just got to sit here and get on with our daily lives and try not to think about the husband. He's going on the other side of the moon. And they said it's harder for them because they've got nothing to do but their ordinary life, whereas the astronauts are busy doing things. So for the wives, or husbands, it must be absolutely terrible, terrifying at times.
It's scary. I mean, think about, you know, go back to Apollo, with Armstrong living sort of opposite of Ed White, and with the fire that they had, and then tragic. Let's issue your neighbor, your friend, your everything. I mean,
and this was when several astronauts died in a horrific way with a fire in a test capsule.
That's right. On the launch pad. They were just doing a normal test, and there was some electrical wires that sort of crossed, and the oxygen just went boom. There was no chance on Earth they could escape it. So that's real. We have had in our program, we have lost 4 people. And that's real. You know, we had an industrial accident on the ground on a very hot day out in Mojave, where things went wrong. We think there was a leak in the nitrogen, but these things happen. We lost 3 people that day, and in 2014 we had 2 test pilots going up, and one of them, we think, was too keen on putting on the brakes too early, and that meant too much stress on the frame, and the wing fell off, and it was just terrible. And one of them managed to escape miraculously through the window and landed again planet Earth, but obviously smashed to pieces. But one of them survived and the other one didn't. So this is real. I mean, this is very real. It's not an academic risk.
It's worth noting on the first moon mission, on Apollo 11, the number of times that almost went completely disastrously. I mean, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin almost got stuck on the surface of the moon because the switch that they needed to flick to get the thing to take off back again had broken. And they ended up using the tip of a ballpoint pen to connect the points, because they knew the inside of this rocket, of this capsule, like the back of their hands. They knew which bits of wire to connect to one another to make the thing lift off again. I mean, there are all of these stories from the Apollo era that we forget. But then, of course, with the shuttle programme, I think it had about a 2% failure rate. Everyone will remember the Challenger disaster and the two losses of crews. And this is more recent history. I mean, this is dangerous stuff.
Just hearing now, astronauts have been allowed to raise their visors. The 4 Artemis II astronauts were able to raise their visors a little more than 11 minutes into their flight towards the moon. The crew is now beginning to move within the capsule and check key systems. So that's the latest there. Now, I don't know if we're able to do this because we're taking full screen at the moment, but Andy Loud has actually brought with him a few models. And are they model replicas of this?
That's what we're seeing now.
So is there any way we might be able to box this up at all so that we can show, Andy can show off what he's brought, and we can maybe go into a bit more detail here with what we're actually looking at on the screen? I don't know if we might be able to do that. Not quite yet, Andy. You will have your moment with the model.
That's okay.
Don't worry, mate. You've got all night, I think, here. But what does that mean now in terms of Andy, the fact that they're now moving within the capsule and that they've been able to raise their visors?
It's good. It tells you straight away that the vehicle is actually stable, because you don't want to move around in an unstable vehicle. So they're able to move around now, and that's a really good sign. So things are going nominal, as we would say. Everything is normal. Everything is going as planned, and you're going through step-by-step procedures now where they'll put the spacecraft eventually into a stable Earth orbit, and then eventually go into a long elliptical orbit. So it's a step-by-step process, and that's working quite well. So that's really good.
OK. Do we know what kind of food they're going to be eating on the thing? I'm always thinking about food.
They've published it. They've published the whole menu of all the food that they're bringing on board, and it's actually looks pretty good. The one thing I'm concerned about is that they've only planned for 43 coffees. It's a 10-day mission. There's 4 of them. That's like 1 coffee a day each, and then 3 left over to fight over, right?
Really importantly, this is the first time there has been a capsule that goes to the moon that has had a toilet on board.
Yes.
The Apollo missions had no toilets at all, and I'm sorry if this is a little bit gruesome, but it is late-night television, so I think it's allowed. The Apollo astronauts had to poo in a plastic tube, and they had to roll it up and mix it with disinfectant. I mean, they had to know each other really intimately. But this capsule, we've moved on at least a little bit in the last 53 years.
We have indeed. We have indeed. Thankfully for everyone, actually. How important is it that you get on with the people you go to space with?
It's very important because it's such a confined space. And obviously, the longer you have to be away, the more important it gets. And as a result of that, an astronaut tends to train in, for instance, in deep caves where it's dark and you lose sense of time and everything else. So you got to be able to do teamwork together. Or indeed, you get sent to some remote place, do your thing, camp and whatever, and survive. So you get to know each other very, very well, and that's a very good thing, because humans can be, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, if there's challenges, you can get a bit irritated, and it's sort of difficult to be around. So it's very important that you have that mental surplus and ability to have a good social interaction.
And just, you know, in about kind of 30 seconds here, Andy, what kind of tests do they do on these pilots? Not just for their actual acumen, but psychologically as well?
Lots of psychological testing to go on. And again, as you said, it's must see how you get on with other people. How do you get on with somebody during a stressful situation is quite important. And there'll be running those tests on this spacecraft, actually, as they're going to the moon. They'll be deliberately creating problems to see how they solve it and how the vehicle handles in those problems. So everything is tested and rehearsed. Even problems are tested and rehearsed. So the psychological testing is breathtaking. See how, because some crews won't get on with each other, but others will. So you make sure those groups came together. The weirdest crew that ever flew is thought to be Apollo 11, strangely enough. They were the three most odd characters to get together, but because Neil Armstrong was very calm, and it'll be all right. And it was all right. It was incredible. And that was the most unusual crew.
Wow, there we go. Well, look, we are going to be keeping it moon for the next couple of hours at least, aren't we, here on GB News? Now, it is very nearly goodbye from me. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this show, whether that's the people in the studio or people who've been watching and listening at home. It's been an absolute honour and a privilege to report on history for you tonight. I hand you over now to Tom Howard.
Well,